You must have some strong feelings on what's going on in El Salvador with Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador. Is that someone you follow or you're in touch with or anything like that?
The situation in El Salvador is instructive because El Salvador doesn't have their own currency. They had a war, a civil war, and following the civil war, their currency collapsed, and so they dollarized. So the medium of exchange in El Salvador has been the dollar, and so their problem is and was that the banking system, the U.S. banking, or the traditional 20th century banking system is too expensive and cumbersome to serve the people of El Salvador. Over 100 years, they managed to put 2.5 million people into a banking relationship. Over 3 weeks, they rolled digital assets than they accomplished in 300 years. And now I can put up one tower and give internet access to millions and millions of people for 1/1000th of the cost of doing it with the copper line technique. So if you think about digital banking, the future of the world is 8 billion people with mobile phones. I download an application in 60 seconds. And on that mobile phone, I carry a digital currency, like maybe the yen or the yuan, maybe if there's an effective nation state. If there's not an effective nation state, I just really swap out to the dollar immediately. Everybody would want to do that. And then I also carry a digital property, Bitcoin. I want to hold it for 100 years. It's instead of holding a building, which you can tax or seize or rain on, or instead of like holding a bar of gold, which you can take from me, I'm just going to hold my digital bar of gold on my phone. And then maybe I have some other assets. Maybe I have digital art. Maybe I have digital securities, maybe copies of ownership of something else that I might like sitting in a wallet. But certainly this I can give to everybody on Earth. And I can move the money at the speed of light. And what do I trust? I'm trusting a piece of software, which is a lot cheaper and a lot more reliable than trusting a building, a bank, a board of directors. When you actually have your money in this bank vault, I mean, look at it. Imagine money in the... Think about that. When you had your money there, you were trusting the guy that ran the bank, the manager of the bank, the mayor, the head of the police force of the bank, the head of security of the bank, the dude that came to actually fix the lock, everyone that touched the thing, the governor of the state. Then you were trusting the head of the country, the central bank that managed the country, the military system.
Who do you trust with Bitcoin?
Nobody. That's the point. Nobody. Bitcoin's a bank in cyberspace run by software, incorruptible software. And this is the beauty, right? Really great engineering. It takes a corruptible element and puts corruptible or imperfect elements together in a system such that they cancel out their imperfections to create perfection. Where did this happen? It happens in a thermostat. In a thermostat, I have a strata or a metal, and the metal contracts when it gets cold and expands when it gets hot. Okay, now I tell you, build something which doesn't contract and expand when it gets cold and it gets hot. You're an engineer. How do you do it? You take the piece of metal that's going to contract and you put it in opposition to another piece of metal that contracts the other way. But if they're both the same and they both contract with the same force and you pin them, they cancel each other out, and then you actually get a zero tolerance perfect machine. That's how John Harrison created a perfected clock. He basically used that insight that imperfect elements can create a perfect mechanism in a clock. That clock was used to calculate longitude on the ocean. That's how we actually navigated for 300 years. It's all based upon a bunch of imperfect elements that create a perfect mechanism. Bitcoin is the same thing. I've got a piece of software, it runs on a machine. Is it perfect? No. Why? Because you can corrupt it. How do I fix it? I give another piece of software to him. Now the two of each of your machines check each other. Well, what if you're both corrupted? Well, I throw another 10,000 of those pieces of software into the ether. Well, who do I give them to? People I don't know. How do I corrupt them? How do I even find them? Okay. What if I promise to murder everybody in the U.S. that doesn't change their Bitcoin node? Doesn't help. Doesn't help. What if I murder everybody I can find with a Bitcoin node? Doesn't help. I can't, right? How do you stop a fire? How do you stop a fire in cyberspace, right? It's like you've released this thing.
What are your thoughts on Ethereum?
So first of all, if you look at the crypto ecosystem, there's crypto property, there's cryptocurrencies, there's crypto platforms, and there's crypto securities, and there's even crypto art. Like, these are just asset classes. Maybe there'll be crypto commodities. NFT is crypto art. It's like art cryptographically protected. Stablecoin is cryptocurrency. $1 or a euro moving on crypto rails. It's currency because I can move it as a medium of exchange without paying a tax bill on it. Ethereum's crypto platform, right? People are building doing other things on that platform, and that's the principal appeal: smart contracts and the fact that you can build something. Bitcoin is crypto property. It is a long-term store of value, and it is the dominant crypto property. And the way it establishes itself as crypto property is through Nakamoto consensus and proof of work. You have a decentralized mining network that is encrypting energy with the SHA-256 hash function in order to create this wall of encrypted energy and make it resistant to denial of service attacks, other sorts of attacks. It needs to be robust and have integrity over time and space. And that's the technique that we've developed. Now here's the big idea, an important idea. Most people don't understand securities law. Okay, Bitcoin's the only proven digital property that we have created in the world. We have created a property and not a security. The definition of property is a common commodity that is beyond the control of any one individual or corporation. If something is deemed property in a legal sense, it means it wouldn't be regulated as a security by the SEC. Gold is property, soybeans are property, wood, lumber, land is property, Bitcoin is property, okay?
Did the SEC come out and officially state that it's not a security, it's officially a property?
It's understood that Bitcoin is not regulated by the SEC, Bitcoin is property. It's the only thing we all agree on in the crypto marketplace, that Bitcoin is property. Securities are regulated by the SEC, and you can create a security. MicroStrategy, MSTR, is a security. Go read my 10K statement. It's 123 pages of disclosures that are legally required for that stock to trade, that security to trade. It costs $20 million a year for us to maintain all the disclosures to be compliant with securities law. If you're a security, it's a different thing. Bitcoin is property. Ethereum, everything else in the crypto ecosystem, likely they're all securities, right? Why are they securities? They're controlled by groups of developers. They're issued pursuant to ICOs, initial coin offerings. That makes them a security. If there's a pre-mine and there was a group of individuals that initially control the thing, it makes it security. If anyone can exercise undue influence, it becomes a security. And technically, if you look at the definition, it's when you're making investment of money, relying upon the efforts of others and expectation of profit, it becomes an investment contract, a security. Okay. The fundamental difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is Ethereum's monetary policy changes every 6 months. Every few months it changes. There's a difficulty bomb in Ethereum that's been getting pushed back since 2016. They keep pushing it back. When it goes off, it will wipe out, obliterate a $50 billion Ethereum mining industry. Just wipe it out, completely change the protocol, flip everything to proof of stake. They keep putting it off. Okay, that sounds like a group of people exercising influence over the protocol. The thing you need to know about Bitcoin is on Pizza Day, May 22nd, 2010, Bitcoin was trading for a couple of pennies for the first time in 15 months or something like that. The protocol hadn't changed and has not changed. When it was a penny, the protocols were all the same. Today, they're the same exact protocol. There was a war fought over this, the block size war. And the block size war, all of the powerful holders and miners and exchanges wanted to change the protocol and double the block size. It would have changed all the economics of Bitcoin forever, for the next 1,000 years. It would have screwed up the economics of the miners. It would have shifted the balance of power in favor of some holders versus others. That war was lost. The original Bitcoin protocol continued on, and that means it's an unadulterated protocol, and it's shown itself to be resistant to the influence of any group of people. That's what makes it property. Property is critical because if property makes Bitcoin, being property makes it the ethical foundation of the crypto economy. And by ethical foundation, I mean it's unethical for a public figure to endorse a security. If you're the mayor of a city, the governor of a state, if you're a politician, a congressman, a senator, a president of a nation, you can't endorse a security, nor can you make a security underpinning of the balance sheet of a public organization, right? It's like I couldn't say I really think that every citizen of Kansas City should buy Twitter stock because it's a better store of value. It's conflict of interest. It's probably illegal, right? Probably violates all sorts of Foreign Corrupt Practices Acts, as well as all the ethics laws. And so this is a very bright line, property versus security. And as soon as you start to exercise influence over the protocol, it becomes a security. If you look at all the cryptos, there might be a dozen that you could debate are property, a debate. Of the ones that you could debate are property, there's one that's dominant, which is Bitcoin. There's 17,000 securities. As the SEC and the regulators move, there's going to be a massive shakeout. If they ever do clarify what the securities laws are, there's a whole set of disclosures and obligations, and then you're going to see the entire industry rationalize in a big way. Size influence over the protocol, it becomes a security. If you look at all the cryptos, there might be a dozen that you could debate are property, a debate. Of the ones that you could debate are property, there's one that's dominant, which is Bitcoin. There's 17,000 securities. As the SEC and the regulators move, there's going to be a massive shakeout. If they ever do clarify what the securities laws are, there's a whole set of disclosures and obligations, and then you're going to see the entire industry rationalize in a big way.